Hello, I'm Stuart Bloor and I'm in my cave, which is my bivvy for the 4-night session that I'm doing here on this particular gravel pit. I arrived last night, well quite late in the afternoon, set up, nothing at all during the night. I didn't get a chance to film, I was too busy getting everything together, and as you saw from the clips that introduced the video, we had a beautiful sunrise, but we also had an overnight frost as well. Anyway, this is the sort of venue where you don't get many fish, but when you do, they tend to be very good ones, and that suits me. That's right up my street. I'm now going to do some lunch, and from my cooking perspective, my cooking skills, that involves a loaf of bread and a tin of chilli. Eat your heart out, Keith Floyd. And the proof of the pudding, as they say, is in the eating. I put the chilli in there, warm it up in the pot. I don't bother with a plate, I just keep it in the pot. Get me some bread, dip the bread in, and away I go. Bon appetit. I'm going to mix some ground bait up now. One of the important things for me, particularly on a wide, big, open gravel pit like this, is you need to find the features, and I'm fishing to a plateau. I must confess that we often leave things behind, don't we? Particularly for now, at this particular point I'm switching from winter species to spring ones, and so you have to transfer everything from one bag to another, get all your gear ready for a new type of fishing, and inevitably I do leave something at home. On this occasion it was the marker float rod. Now if I was here for the first time and I'd never fished here before, that would really be a bad move, but as it is, I've been on this place for a good 12-13 springs on the trot, and this particular peg, I know it very, very well, so I know where that plateau is. I would still prefer the marker float rod, don't get me wrong, I would still prefer to have it out there so I can catapult my bait out there accurately and cast to it accurately, but I'm more than confident enough to manage without it on this occasion. So I'm now going to mix up some more ground bait and put it out there into the plateau, or should I say onto the plateau. And this is my ground bait. I've got a big bucket this time, as you can see, and in there hemp, corn and a couple of types of ground bait. One's red and one's brown. I did the hemp myself and it's predominantly at the bottom at the moment because I just mixed the top bit yesterday when I arrived and cast out, and as you can see there, plenty of hemp, and I soaked it in corn steep liquor overnight prior to setting off for the pit. This is what we want to see, well certainly me anyway, playing a fish, although obviously you can't see much from the camera, but I just had a little bit of a screamer and then it stopped. I was on the rod in an instant and the line wasn't peeling off, but it was right to the top. I lifted and I'm into a fish. Feels decent enough, which you'd expect from here. I'm going to bring it in now, net it, and I'll show you on the camera. We're now approaching the third night, just the one fish, but as you've seen, it was a cracker, so I'm more than happy with that. And it is early in the season as well, so we have to bear that in mind. And this particular pit that I'm on, as I've already said, doesn't produce many, but when it does, they tend to be very good. But of course, early on in the season, then it's even more of a challenge. All the geese are coming in there, loads of grey lags and a few Canada as well, all coming in to roost for the evening. But I think it's important to always bring our fishing into perspective. And yesterday afternoon when I was on here, standing by my bivvy, a man came past with his camera, expensive camera gear around his neck, and he said, I'm celebrating, taking some pictures. That was his way of celebrating. And he said it to me in such a way that he wanted me to ask why, so I did. And he said, well, I've just been to the hospital and I've been given my all clear on cancer. So he was out celebrating. So I think the times that we lose a fish, the times that we blank, the times that we struggle, really, when we look at the big picture of life, it's nothing, is it, at all? In fact, that fish that I caught last night, that has been the thin line so far between success and failure. The hook actually came out in the net. That's how close it was. But when I look at the big picture, really, it's nothing, is it, losing a fish? As it was, I didn't, so I'm doubly happy on that count. It's the final night, it's 3 AM, I'm back in my sleeping bag. I've just been out, I had a run, lifted it, struck into the fish, felt it on, it was a tench, played it right into the side, got the net in the water, saw the fish, just about to net it, and it came off. And just for that moment, you know what it's like when you lose a fish in those circumstances. You brought it right the way in, the fish, it just hangs there, so to speak, in the water just for a moment, and I almost scooped it out the water, but no, just inches too far, and away it went. Never mind, these things happen. As it was, it wasn't a big fish, certainly wasn't as big as the one I caught earlier. It's a chilly night, so I have started my tench campaign quite early this year, so I'm happy with that one fish. 4 nights for one fish. You'd think I wouldn't be very happy with that, would you? But at the end of the day, if you're happy with your fishing, regardless of your returns, that's what it's all about, really. Time to break away now. No more fish, unfortunately, unless I do get a very, very late one. You never know, do you? Fergie time fish on the bank, who knows? But the film is coming to an end now. As always, if you're out and about yourself, tight lines, and I'll be back on this venue to crack the tench next time. If not, the time after.